And welcome back, everybody, to the latest and greatest installment of Go Folk Yourself podcast, an American podcast brought to you live from the internet here in sunny Orlando, Florida. I hope you guys have enjoyed our little summer break. I know that we have. Tonight on the show, we have Ethan.
Hi, it's me, Ethan.
Nick.
Hey, everybody.
And the hated Victor.
Hey, guys. How was your cruise? Would have been fun to get invited.
We did invite you.
Yeah, we definitely sent it over.
Didn't we?
You didn't get the Facebook invite?
No.
Huh.
I just showed up to the annex one day and was like, oh, no one's here. And there was a note from Dan and said, fuck you. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
You're
When are you
Harry,
gonna-
right? You're that brother?
No.
Yeah, we had a
Did
really
Harry
good
go?
time with Harry.
Harry was great.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, he's really cool.
I mean,
He
to be
is
fair,
cool.
I have a baby. I can't just leave him. I mean, I can. But like,
yeah, you know, we were really
I was going to
thinking
say,
about
my
that.
dad did a great
That's-
job
My
with
dad
it.
did a great. Now we'll dive into each one of our childhoods and see which one had a dad. Spoilers.
All these guys with their dads. Jealous.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
God. Raised myself, everybody.
That's right.
into this strange sexual occultist that I am.
Just me and my wolves, like always.
My wolves.
I was once a lone wolf pack, but now I have many to join my wolf pack.
We're a wolf pack of five, sometimes six, including Dan K, and once including Harry.
Shit.
Oh, shit. So, yeah, summer
Yeah.
vacation was good. You
Yeah,
guys
it
have
was
a good
cool.
time?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Anyone do anything of note over
No.
the break?
No.
Nope.
You
Sat
know-
and waited for the next episode.
I do want to
Just like all of you.
Just sat at the computer waiting for us to
I
text.
do want to say summer vacation in Florida sucks actually cuz it's hot as hell all the
Yeah.
time
That is correct.
because the earth is trying to kill us.
Yeah, we shouldn't exist also. We should
No
be
one
a
was
swamp.
no one
Is
was
the
meant
Earth
to
trying to
inhabit
kill
here.
us, or are we trying to kill it?
I think the earth is like trying to shed like some extra weight
Like
to
I
get
have a
rid of
bunch
the
of
Florida.
fleas named
and
humans.
we're the
Get off.
weight. Yeah. Not to make a sudden turn, but I was thinking about it the other day where like I was seeing all these people like, oh, nothing like summer, ball game. And they're in like Chicago. And
Where it's like
not-
70.
yeah, and they're like,
probably.
oh, this is great.
Oh,
No
yeah, 'cause
humidity.
Summer, when I lived in Boston, summer you like, oh, thank God, like the sun is out.
Yes.
Because for like months you would not see it.
Right.
And it's below 40 every day and it's miserable. And then summer comes and then you realize, oh, wait, no one installed central AC in any of these buildings. This is awful.
Yes.
Like once July hits
God.
and it
Yeah.
gets cold again. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that. They
Yeah.
probably don't need AC.
No,
you get a
a lot
window
of them
AC
don't
for
even
your
have
building
it.
or something. I mean, some nicer places obviously have it. but-
Right.
That's how
Yeah.
it was in New York. Same thing. It'd
Oh,
be
yeah,
like
right.
summertime. You're like June. You're like, man, this is great. It's not snowing anymore. I can breathe.
Yeah.
And then it's like July hits, and you go, oh shit, no, we didn't plan for this. Same thing. Window air
But
conditioner.
then you just like wait it out because it's
Yeah.
like, it's 2 months. It's not worth $300.
A week later, you're freezing again.
Yeah.
I feel like a window air conditioner is okay.
Yeah.
They're all right.
Is that killing the earth really?
I don't know. Probably not. It's plugged into
They're
the
not
wall,
great.
right?
It's really cold right up against it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, it's fine.
Anyway, climate change, right?
Somewhere
Right,
there's
it's
a
gonna
polar
kill
bear
us all.
shaking
Nothing.
his fist in the air.
Nothing plays like climate change.
That's right,
man.
folks. Alleged climate change.
Alleged.
Alleged climate
Alleged.
change.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it still gets pretty cold in the winter.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
not
Saying
happening.
it still
Sometimes.
snows.
Come on.
So
Sometimes it's hot. I don't know.
I don't care. All I know is I got enough clothes.
I'm
Yeah.
not a weatherman. Come
I'm
on.
fine.
Brett, take us out of the swampy, hot
Yeah.
bowels of Florida, and where are we going?
We are going into the frigid bowels of God's country, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Oh,
yeah.
You
yeah.
mean South Canada?
That is correct. South Canada.
Wait, we're doing Minnesota
But
this
it's
day?
like the opposite of Canada, where it's
Yep.
gun-toting
I
militias.
totally thought we were just doing Maine again. You just texted us and said MN.
Oh,
Yeah,
God damn it.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
All right, hang on. I got to go look something up real quick.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. Don't worry. Just do the main shit over again. No one listens to this podcast anyway.
Right?
Yeah,
Only
Stephen
person
King
that'll
wrote a
text
whole
us
bunch
back
of books in Minnesota. Who knew?
Yeah.
He wrote one about a
Just
giant
twisted.
lumberjack that killed people. He was so big that the only thing he could have sex with was an ox of his same relative size.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you remember that discussion? It came back.
Yep.
Full
Full
circle.
circle,
He
folks.
couldn't fuck anything else but that ox. Because if he fucked anything else, it would die.
It
Like
killed him.
Superman.
That's right.
Kept his side.
He's got to fuck something.
Like Samson's hair.
He's gotta fuck something. He's gotta fuck something.
Yeah, that's what all the locals say.
That should be a shirt. Just,
Oh God,
be
just
the
like
worst campaign.
like
for
the
that.
like the cartoon Paul or not Paul. What's his name? Shit.
Rosie the
Lumberjack
Riveter.
guy. What's his name? Paul Bunyan.
Bunyan.
There we
yeah,
go.
Paul
Cartoon
Bunyan.
Bunyan.
Yeah.
You were
He's
right
got to
there.
fuck something, and then
He's
like a sad-looking ox.
Oh Jesus.
Would it be better or worse if it was a happy-looking ox, though?
Yeah, I would hope
I don't
happy.
know. It's not good either.
What if it was like a pancake, like a big pancake that he's holding and he's like shamefully pouring syrup on it?
He's
Like
fucking the
fucking the
pancake.
Like, yeah.
Paul
Well,
Bunyan fucks pancakes.
Like they say in Minnesota, he's got to fuck something.
He's gotta.
Apparently, that is the state motto.
That's the motto
It's
of
on
Minnesota.
on their drive license
Well, you know,
plate.
that's what we always say here. You gotta fuck
You
something.
gotta fuck so. Oh crap! That's one of my favorite. One of my favorite accents is the Minnesota accent.
Yeah, you know, my favorite thing about Minnesota used to be the Tales of Lake Wobegon told by Garrison Keillor before he was exposed as a sex pervert.
Yeah. Did that one hit just really quick? Not to keep bringing up
Yeah, bring up the
depressing
Me Too
subjects,
Right.
Yeah, but like that one hit really like to the core.
That
for
was
me.
really?
That was me too.
I was like, oh,
no,
shit.
no,
To me, it
no,
was
not-
Louis C.K. That was the. I was like,
Ooh,
God.
that was a big one.
Fuck,
He
that's
looks
awful.
like a pervert. He
Yeah,
looks like he
I'm
wears
not saying like he was
sweatpants
holy or
that
mighty or
are covered
anything. It
in
was just
cum.
like, he makes like when someone makes jerking off jokes, you don't hope that that's based off a
Yes.
real thing that happened.
Yeah.
and that's where I'm like, oh, now I can't enjoy those like hour specials anymore.
This whole time, he was more like Jerry Seinfeld. Just his casual observations about real life were creepy as fuck.
Yeah,
Oh God,
You know,
yeah,
like he
yeah.
wasn't
yeah.
doing a ridiculous. He was going like, "Doesn't everybody jerk off?"
yeah.
in front of people,
People
while
in
they're
hotel
doing it, they
rooms.
don't want it.
They're trying to get a
Don't
career.
don't you hate it when you just whip it out and they're not into it?
I'm just
Oh,
like
man.
all you folks. Isn't that funny?
Right?
I jerk off in my office every morning, just like you guys.
Just like you guys. What's the deal with that?
But really, the Garrison Keillor is just
that-
shockingly disappointing.
That was the one where I was like, I don't want to think about him having sex.
He was the whistle-toothed old man
Yeah.
from
The
NPR.
the
Prairie
Prairie
Home
Home
Companion.
Companion.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
The
like,
guy.
oh, hello
Yeah.
there. Welcome to the Tales of Lake Wobegon.
Oh,
That
really?
guy, yeah. He's like, where the women are strong and the men are upstanding.
Yeah.
it's
And
weird.
all the children go to school or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
All the children are above average. Yeah. I can't even quote that without feeling like I'm like endorsing a sex
I
pervert.
know.
You know, like,
I know normally we would like cut away when there's like a shitty fun fact, but I actually have like a story about that.
Yeah.
oh God, go for it, please.
So the Fitzgerald Theater in St. Paul, Minnesota, which was the home to the Prairie Home Companion, is not only the oldest theater in the state, but it's also said to be haunted.
no shit.
Okay.
And
Is it
hopefully
haunted by
not,
the tarnished memory
Yeah.
of Garrison Keillor?
That's
not
what
only
it
is it
is.
haunted with that,
It's haunted by his reputation.
it's haunted by his horrible reputation and also an entity called Ben by the folks who work in the Fitzgerald. Ben began making his presence known in 1985 after renovations to the theater's ceiling revealed a hidden balcony containing a letter to a stagehand named Ben.
Yeah.
Ben is
Okay.
usually quiet and somewhat playful, much like myself after a couple glasses of wine.
That's the creepiest way you could have ever described yourself.
What a side with Jesus.
That's like
I'm really fun. After 2 glasses of wine, I get crazy.
The hilarious fact is I hate wine. I just really needed to make
whoa,
that joke.
really? You
I
actually
don't
don't
get it.
like
I don't
wine?
like
I get the artistry behind it and like the
Sure.
tasting technicalities.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do as much for me as beer or coffee.
I
Oh,
get that.
man.
I recently got into wine
yeah?
because of my girlfriend. She fucking loves wine.
That's
and
right,
is
folks.
like-
He's taken.
that's right.
Put
Just
it
like
right on
She's
it.
real.
just like the rest of these guys, he's taken. He's no longer the sad one.
Sorry, folks.
Yeah, she's huge
that.
wine aficionado.
I didn't know
And,
that.
Yeah,
Dude, I love wine.
it's amazing.
It's-
I feel like I've discovered a whole new world.
Yeah.
like
Ladies and gentlemen,
Aladdin.
welcome to Winecast.
Yeah, wine cast.
Wine down.
Wine
Are
ca-
you
oh,
guys are wine or you guys are red or white wine?
I'm a red.
depends on what I'm eating.
I'm a
Ooh, I
full-bodied
like that. I like
red.
that, Ethan.
Right.
I'm
To
a
be fair
full-bodied
with.
red
Yeah.
unless I'm with fish, then I'm a white. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
Don't
What-
adjust your volume, guys. It's meant to be at this low volume right here.
What do
Just
you?
keep
What,
it nice and you know.
Victor? What do you? What kind of wine? Do you
I like
drink?
a Perrier with
Yeah?
some Gouda cheese.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Okay. I like a fine Pinot Noir
Any-
personally.
Okay.
Has anybody had a
playful-
Walmart brand Sweet Red?
Ooh,
That's
yes.
a good.
that's nice.
The Boone's
That's
Farm.
that's a good. I can't pay my rent. I'm gonna drink this till tomorrow. Wine.
That's some
I
solid
fancy
wine.
myself to be like my uncle, a nice Carlo Rossi Chianti, like jug o' wine.
I once drank an entire one of those and then vomited profusely onto myself and then fell down and broke my nose.
As is tradition.
That is a fact. That is a real story.
Oh my god! What if a wine podcast did that, where they just talked about their worst wine nights?
I'm sure there's
Like
million
they-
of them out there.
But they treat it really calm. And they're like, one time I got so drunk I called my ex-wife for 3 hours straight.
And I
You know.
begged her not to take the kids.
One time I was so blackout drunk, I came into work the next day and emailed everyone a picture of my penis.
Oddly enough, I was promoted in a week.
Oddly enough, I became CFO.
They gave me a comedy special. Anyways, I've been Louis C.K.
Oh, shit!
Oh, round.
I was waiting for it.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
So, fun fact, what also is a circle, some of these famous inventions are from Minnesota. Scotch tape, Wheaties cereal, Bisquick, HMOs, and also green giant vegetables.
Okay, what's a Bisquick?
You don't know what
HMOs?
Bisquick is?
Yeah, what is
It's
that?
like, I don't want to make
Bis-
stuff from scratch. You
yeah.
just put it in, and you can make pancakes or bread or flat or like whatever
Yeah, it's
you
like
want.
ready made. It's got like leavener in it and
Biscuits
flour
with it,
and shit.
yeah.
It's mostly for like.
liquid
It's-
bread.
It's not
Biscuits.
liquid. It's
No, it's not
Yeah.
liquid. It's powder. It's
well,
like-
now they have
It's
like,
powdered
they have
bread.
liquid- Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. They have that for pancakes.
like the
It's
shake and
weird.
pour or some shit.
What
But
you
That's
do
just
is
a
after you've had
pancake.
enough wine, you just eat
you
it.
you just chew on the raw
And then
flour.
you drink a cup
Yeah.
of
I have
water, and it
never
makes a
heard of
pancake
this.
in your stomach.
Yeah, it's
Right.
it's like ready waffle mix, but it's for like biscuits and shit.
Is it like a Go-Gurt? You like squeeze it out, or is
Oh,
it like
gross.
a
No.
Nesquik where you like spoon
It's
it?
like a it's like
It's like a
rat
box
poison.
cake shit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On a quick
Rat
behind the fun
poison.
facts,
It's like
I
rat
honestly
poison.
thought Scotch tape was going to get more appeal than the Bisquick. Thank you, Brett, for making that fun fact worth it.
No problem. I learned
Totally.
something new.
Yeah, really quick. HMOs are from Minnesota.
Yeah, it's invented in Minnesota. Yeah,
Wow.
so it's a thing over there.
Nice
For them.
Yeah,
You know what?
another invention
Yeah.
over there is rollerblades. So they're commercially successful inline skates from Minnesota.
Thanks a
Not-
lot,
Scott
Minnesota.
and Olson invented it in 1980, and they were looking a way to practice hockey during the off season. Little
Wait.
did they know that the 90s would turn it into the worst knockoff of skateboarding ever.
I didn't realize it was that like new.
Yeah.
What rollerblading?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well,
before
inline
that it was
skating.
roller skating.
Yeah,
Oh, like where they're all in a
Oh,
line.
oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
line, inline skating.
Did
yeah.
you guys ever learn how to use those?
No.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
did
did?
not.
I did have a pair.
I always
Playing
kept the
hockey.
quads.
Huh.
All
I went-
through college.
Oh, you ever had the four
No, I,
your knee-high socks?
You had, like,
Go
the
to skate
70s
along.
era.
Your short shorts with
you
your
know, I'd skate on down to get my perm, and yeah,
going out to the rest stop.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, on my quads. Anyway,
What else you got?
I just realized I never finished the story.
oh my god,
No,
yeah,
I
wait.
didn't realize it until you said the last one. I'm like, weren't we? Oh shit, the haunted.
Yeah, you-
Oh
fucking
shit,
building.
yeah.
Something's
Wait, what
haunted, right?
happened in the haunted
Yeah. What
place?
about Louis C.K.?
Yeah, what did he-
So Louis C.K. or Ben, as we'll call him, so we don't get sued again.
Oh
Yeah.
sure.
He
Fair use.
was fair use, totally fine.
Thank you.
He was.
Yeah.
They basically said he used to move and hide tools and empty bottles of muscatel in out of the way places. But on one occasion, he nearly injured two stagehands by dropping a large piece of plaster between them from the scaffolding above. When the debris hit the ground, the two workers looked up and saw a hazy figure moving in the catwalks, who disappeared right before their eyes. The strange thing about this encounter is that no one knows where the plaster came from, because the ceiling in the Fitzgerald is not made of plaster.
Wow.
Oh shit.
What's
so
it made out of?
Bisquick?
Anything else. Probably Bisquick and HMOs.
Bisquick and Scotch tape.
It's the tears from using your HMO mixed with the Bisquick
Yeah.
and then on the ceiling.
Plastered right up there.
So
Yep.
that
Yeah.
means that motherfucker went out, got plaster, and brought it back.
What a-
He went out, got plastered,
Industrious ghost.
brought plaster, and then threw it at somebody.
Wow. I think it's a Phantom situation.
Like Phantom
That's-
of the Opera.
I think Ben is Phantom of Garrison Keeler's venue.
I think we're all just looking for our Christine. Am I right?
I think he's a phantom. Fair use, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh, go ahead and just ignore him.
What the fuck? Is that plaster? Don't worry.
Don't you worry about
That's
it.
just Ben.
He's the phantom around here. That's a really bad Garrison Keillor.
I
I
liked
thought
it.
it was like a weird Sean Connery thing going on.
I was trying to do Sean Connery.
I was
Yeah.
trying to do Garrison Keillor.
Where all the what is he? It's like a not. An,
It's like a. This is kind of how he talks a little bit. Do you want to see my dick?
Just like him.
oh my god! It's like he's
It's
in the
like-
room.
It's like listening to a complete recording of NPR right there.
Speaking of theaters, did you guys know Minneapolis has its oldest running theater, the Old Log Theater, and the world's largest dinner theater?
I got an old log, so you can see, young lady. Oh no, Garrison, put that away.
Oh, the puns alone.
So I'm sorry.
Minneapolis. There we go. I said it right this time.
So it was a large. What'd you say? Dinner theater?
So they have two things: the oldest running theater, the Old Log Theater,
Mhm.
and they have the largest dinner theater, the Chassan Dinner Theater in the country.
What is a
Nice.
dinner theater? Is that like a
It's like-
mystery
like
murder?
medieval times.
Mystery birth. Like,
Someone's.
it's where you're part of the whole thing. Like you go
Yeah.
eat dinner, and it's like there's been a murder. And then,
Oh
like,
yeah, okay. I
Like
can get
medieval
behind that.
times.
Yeah, medieval times.
That-
Quality
yeah,
established.
There we go. Medieval times.
Two separate things.
Do you remember when medieval?
I'm sure Dan somewhere is screaming. There's a difference.
There's
There's a difference. It's theater, not performance.
Beavis.
Do you remember when medieval times had that whole push with a new storyline where there was a lady?
I've seen it. It's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, I went there
Yeah.
for my birthday.
No kid. What? Wow.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about.
She was a fair and just queen,
Oh.
and I heckled her chancellor, who was the former king, because I was very drunk.
Damn, you're a nightmare for dinner theater.
You know, I got a great rise out of the audience, and afterwards he came up and talked to me and
Oh.
found it quite funny.
Isn't that the best when you're the funny guy in the audience?
It was the greatest gift of all.
One time,
Validation from an old man.
he
The
came up
king
and talked
looks
to you.
up and he just like winks at you and he's like, "You can have my daughter. Fuck all these men on horses."
You.
Guy fucks.
This guy.
Oh shit. All right, we got any other fun facts there?
Yeah.
Victor?
What else
You'll
you
like
got?
this one. The nation's first Better Business Bureau was founded.
I am a businessman,
in
so
1912.
I was like, "Are you a fan of the Better Business Bureau?"
I'm
The-
also-
fun
the
fact
fake,
about the Better Business
not,
Bureau. It is a scam.
Yeah.
Basically, it is like pre-Yelp.
What?
So you know,
Really?
Yelp is like pay to
Did
play.
you read that on Reddit this morning?
No, I did not.
There was a rant like exactly like this on Reddit this morning.
Oh, I haven't been on Reddit today. I've been at
Fair-
work all day.
Fair
Yeah,
use.
so was I.
Reddit.
That's why I was on Reddit.
Working hard, huh?
If my manager's listening to this, I was on break.
No one listens to this.
No.
Nick.
No one,
You're
listens,
safe.
no one.
This is going into a vacuum into space.
We're just
Yeah.
shouting into a void
We're
about
just-
Garrison
yeah. Are we
Keillor's
recording?
cock.
What happens when the void shouts back?
Go ahead,
though?
shout
Show.
out. Oh no, Garrison!
Garrison,
no.
please stop. Play some music.
Play
Like the
country
sound effects
folk.
guy is there, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Somehow, intelligent life out there is listening, and this somehow gets to them. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, what's on? Oh, no, never mind.
Never
Move
mind.
on. The next one."
Clearly
On to
not
the
an
serious
intelligent life
galaxy.
species.
Yeah. So the Better Business Bureau is a scam,
Mhm.
pay to play kind of thing.
It's a pay-to-play thing. It's like
Exactly.
it's like pre-Yelp is the best way to think of it.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
What
It's a place
bummer.
for white people to go and say, "Well, they didn't honor my coupon, and damn it, it was only
Fuck
2 months
them.
expired."
I just
I'm
want to
gonna go
say the
complain to,
manager.
like no one because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
like,
matter.
Does anyone listen? I don't listen to Yelp. I don't go on there. I don't trust
use
them.
Yelp to find hours in menus.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
Are
I
they
don't-
open?
I don't read the reviews because it's just awful entitled bullshit. Like half the time.
I do sometimes, but
Yeah.
usually for that reason, because
You're a
I just want to
goddamn Yelp
hear,
reviewer, aren't you?
like, no, I just want to
just read
see.
my reviews.
Stars.
Sick.
They
You
didn't fold
look
my napkin
like
right.
you'd be a Yelp reviewer.
I have reviewed places on Yelp, but I have never given a negative review on Yelp.
Is-
And it's only, I think the only time I've ever done it is after like a new place has come out and I'm like
Okay.
looking through, I'm like, oh, I wonder what people are saying about it. And these people are just like fucking trashing it. And I'm like, that can't be that bad. So I'll
Nick
go.
eagerly awaits the opportunity to write the review that just says first.
The hamburger was pretty good first, bye.
First exclamation mark, no review, 4 stars.
First, also the fries were
Never
underdone.
perfect stars.
No,
It's always.
There's only one person that gets 5 stars. That's the Lord Jesus Christ.
That bread, those crackers and wine are something else.
Has anyone else been to Minnesota? I've never been.
I've
Oh
never
shit!
been to
No, I've
Minnesota.
never
No.
even been close to Minnesota.
Okay, same. Okay.
I'm
What
not
is
even-
close to Minnesota?
Is
though?
Chicago
Canada.
close
Canada
to
is
Minnesota?
close to
Joking.
Where is Minnesota?
Let's
It's
pull
like
it up, shall we?
It's up north,
it's west of Michigan.
It's connecting to the Great Lakes, right?
I think. Yeah,
It's one
part
of
the
those,
Great
Part of the
right?
Great Lakes. It has that arc there.
I know that here.
cold.
Well, let's see. I know the general area, but Minnesota might as well be like
Oh,
Michigan
yeah.
to me.
It's between the Dakotas and Wisconsin. Like
What?
Right in
the
between, attached
east?
to Canada.
Okay.
So it's
it
like-
is
So it's a
attached.
Canada toucher.
Depending on where you guys are looking at it, from you two, it's Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Okay.
From you, it's right here because you can see my fucking computer.
All those states are just flyover states, so it's between the no and fly.
This weird little
that
chimney.
Minnesota's
Oh my
actually a
god,
pretty
that's
cool
north
place
as
to go.
fuck.
Yeah, I mean the train looks gorgeous. Like
Yeah.
What are you
the
talking about?
Mountains.
Which
Like
one?
it's actually a pretty
Minnesota,
cool
the
place to
train.
visit. From everyone that I've known a couple people who've gone there, and they fucking rave about it.
I've been told Minnesota is really, really great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know what else is great? The Mall of America in Bloomington is the size of 78 football fields.
No shit, that's
Yeah.
in Minnesota.
The Mall of
I
America.
thought
is
that
wow.
was in
Minnesota.
Pennsylvania.
Me too.
It seems like it would be like in New
Right,
York
yeah,
or
or
a
like
real
Person to
state.
Lead a podcast road trip across America.
I
Not in
seem-
Connecticut.
Seems
Yeah.
like Pennsylvania.
I always thought the Mall of America was like in a more middle state, like Oklahoma. Like I thought there was
I thought
nothing.
that too for a while.
there
And I
was-
was like, oh shit, it is Minnesota when I
Wow.
was looking this up. They have a lot of firsts and a lot of the biggest.
Mhm.
Another first for them, really big for surgery. First open heart surgery and the first bone marrow transplant in the United States were done in the University of Minnesota.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
pretty cool.
They probably just
And I
figured
wanna
like,
make a
well, if
fat
we
joke
lose
there
them, no big
because it's
deal.
a constant thing over there. It's just like
Oh.
fast food chains test their food out in that state.
Do they really?
Oh.
Is
No,
it
all
Minnesota
of-
where they like invent like hot dishes and shit like
Yeah,
that?
and yeah, exactly.
Oh, that
These
sounds
are
great.
cheesy tater
It's like
tots all the way
like
from
cheese
Minnesota.
injection and cheeseburger on top with nacho cheese, and
Give
then
it-
shove nachos in a
Dude, just
pretzel bun.
Fuck my shit up right now. Give me that.
That's why
like, please.
I noticed there's a lot of trends in heart surgery in Minnesota, and I was like,
Yeah.
I think there's a correlation with that.
Yeah.
and the fucking ice cream and food that they make there.
Right. I just never want to shit again. Put
Yeah.
cheese on cheese on
Just
cheese, on
cheese on cheese.
Well, it's right next to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I
that's
get all that good cheese.
Yeah, they get
Same
that
thing there.
good
Deep
cheese.
fried cheese is probably everything on the menu.
Oh god,
Yeah.
Mm.
that just sounds like heaven.
We should have
White
taken
people-
this episode on the road.
I know. Let's go to Minnesota.
Yeah.
guys.
You know what? I would love for our first road trip to be to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Fucking
that'd be really nice.
sure.
Yeah.
actually.
Minute.
Do a live episode from the mall.
Yeah. All of our Patreon folks
We
just.
get to eat the Kung Pao chicken at the mall.
Yes.
Yeah, finally.
We could ride the
Probably like
roller
5 people
coaster
there.
in the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
We
there
could
were
park in the
roller coasters
parking lot.
Yeah.
Largest lot in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized, Brett? I think you're thinking of King of Prussia, like near Philadelphia.
That's the one.
Yep,
Not the
Wh-
same.
not the
apparently.
What?
same at all.
No.
What is the king of? What are you talking
What
about?
is
The
that?
King of Prussia is like the second,
second
largest
biggest
mall.
mall.
Yeah,
No, I'm not going there.
Nah, fuck that place.
First or
You know what?
nothing.
Fuck you guys. I bring the first biggest mall, and then what do you want to talk about? The second biggest mall. God damn it. All this list was top 10,
Yeah.
number one
You
thing.
did a good job.
No,
Victor.
we are
But
very
really-
proud of you,
We really
Victor.
missed the second
You know what?
best.
Fuck Mall of America. Let's talk about the second biggest mall in
We got
Pennsylvania.
look. We
So
got
true.
used to
More
it.
interesting right now.
I'm like, well, where's the second stuff?
Yeah.
where's I don't know. It's just sometimes I want a little bit of something else.
Yeah.
So,
I want to want more.
Sometimes silver's good. You know.
so you know what? Yeah.
I don't need to be gold all the time.
All right.
Right.
So we got any more before we go to commercial? Any
No,
more?
we could just go to commercial. That's it. The Mall of America is the top one.
Great.
Figured, yeah.
Nice. That's great. Wow.
They
All
used to
right.
have a
Mountains, no
Nickelodeon-
rivers. I went with just
Commercial
man-made
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Man, triumph for over Earth.
Take them, Mother Earth.
We'll be back with some more spooky stories.
You got to see it to believe it. Who said that you can't have it all? You have a ball. There's a place for fun in your life. Mall of America. There's a place for fun in your life. Mall of America.
And welcome back, everybody. That was a message from our sponsors, and definitely not something that we made up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so glad they sponsored us.
I
too.
do a lot of work to get these sponsors.
I really
do.
appreciate
Nick.
their patronage
Thanks,
almost
guys.
as much as our Patreon supporters.
Not quite as much, though, because our Patreon subscribers, let's be real, they're truly the lifeblood of this podcast.
They are.
And if
They
you
are.
wanted to become one, you could find us at patreon.com/GoFolkYourself podcast.
Yeah, we want to go ahead and give a shout out to the Bleaches. To,
The Bleach, Jessica Grieving,
Jessica Cesario,
the professor guy.
the sexy professor man.
The sexy professor.
And you know what? I'm going to go on a tangent here real quick. He posted on Twitter recently. He
Oh, really?
talks on the internet, just not to us.
So he's not dead.
So he's there.
He's there.
He's
He is.
ignoring the
I
notifications.
imagine like most of our patrons, they subscribed and never looked back on that website. And
Shh,
just
don't
look
tell
at
them they can do
bill.
that. Yeah,
They're
it's
like,
weird.
"Oh, that's not
You-
that expensive.
Yeah,
Was that $1? What? Oh well, whatever.
$5
you just sign up and it's there
Weird.
for life.
Huh, okay,
It's
whatever,
like school
fuck it.
loans.
Or they just
Yeah.
You never miss that money. It's pocket change.
Yeah.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Especially if you're listening in Europe, your money is much more valuable than ours.
Very true.
Absolutely,
And-
because you will once again rule our colony.
You know
Hey,
what? And
we
I,
welcome it.
Well, maybe not because Brexit. So maybe
yeah.
you guys are on par with us right now.
that's true.
Maybe
I don't
one
know.
day we'll be admitted into the European Union.
At this point,
We can only
I
hope.
this point I feel like a little puppy dog wandering from porch to porch, like Japan,
Will you be our
Australia,
friend? Do you have any food?
anyone.
Will you pet me?
I feel like our shit's really fucked up right now. So if anybody could just help us out,
Now's a good time to take over a plucky little nation.
that's right.
We need
have
a new despotic ruler, please. Anyone?
We have so much. Also, I led with Japan, and right as I said it, I realized Japan tried to take us.
Yeah, we were gonna let it
So
go.
maybe not that one.
Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. They've redeemed themselves. We got Sony because of them.
You know-
so maybe
You're
they're
lying.
ready for a new
Gundam
one.
action figures.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Gundam's so great.
Yeah.
Waifu
and
pillows.
Hentai,
I,
the
did
art
not, I thought it
form.
was alone. Oh, none on that.
You're never alone on hentai.
Oh, great stuff. But
So, Brett, Nick brought up a haunted theater. What do you got?
yeah,
I have a couple things that I
Okay.
want to share with you guys
Okay.
today. So, the first one that I want to tell you guys a little bit about is Orla Varmlinning. What do you think that is, first of all?
Orla Varmlinning.
Animal,
that-
vegetable, mineral, person, or place?
I was
That's
gonna say,
a-
it sounds like I'm assuming that's your mom's maiden name.
Yes, it is.
Cool.
so it's a
Animal?
animal.
Animal,
One more time?
animal, vegetable, mineral, person, place, or thing.
No, I mean the name.
Orla Varmlinning.
I think it's a mineral.
Ooh, Victor is correct. It is a
person.
person. So,
Nice.
Orla is a Swedish drunken prankster figure whose popularity was evident amongst the Swedish immigrant community in Minnesota in the late 19th century.
Oh,
So, according to legend, Ola was born in the Swedish province of Varmland. And according to some, he was the black sheep son of a Swedish noble family. And he was alleged to have packed all of his shit and moved to America, given periodic money stipends by his family to maintain his distance because he was such an embarrassment as a drunkard.
Oh, wow. Fun fact, there was a Viking ruin they found that they date back in Minnesota to 1309.
We
That's pretty
already
cool.
did fun facts,
I
though.
know.
Oh,
God
Kensington Rune Stone, I believe.
Yes.
is
That was
Yes,
one of
yes.
the-
I do
yeah.
love Viking
Yeah,
shit.
weird how we say 1776, right? But,
Who knows? Who knows? So
I can't believe it. It was empty then. Wow.
So Orla allegedly came to America to forget a failed love affair, and came to America to become a wandering drunken minister of the Church of Sweden, proselytizing to immigrants.
been there.
Are they still looking for people? Because I might change my
right?
calling in life.
I'm okay with this. Yeah.
So he is also said to have been a wandering logger, as in addition to being a minister, and arrived via a private noble train. And his arriving gathered a giant crowd in Duluth, Minnesota, where he first stood ground on America.
Okay, so like 50 people.
Right. And they.
Hang on, something's not ringing true for me there. He's from Sweden,
Yep.
and he first stepped ground in Minnesota.
Yep.
After
Because he was
arriving
on-
in a train.
Yes, he was on boat
Wait, what?
to train
Oh.
to Minnesota.
Oh.
I guess he never stepped foot anywhere else.
He was-
I
They
don't
like
know.
kept
was,
throwing
like,
like blankets
carried
from,
from-
the
Yeah,
boat to the train.
Look, I didn't make the folklore the Swedes did.
He
all right?
made someone carry
So
him.
the crowd gathered to meet him and were incredibly excited. But when they saw him, he was dressed as a lumberjack, not in fine clothes, was drunk, and had a giant beard down to his crotch.
Nice.
So he
I
is
dig
said to have lived in the Twin Cities in Minnesota in the 1880s and 1890s, and made a living gambling, conning, and drinking his way through the local populace. In one legend, he allegedly tricked the chief of police of the St. Paul Police Department into helping him steal a pig from a butcher, and somehow pulled the old switcheroo and got the police chief arrested for this.
This man is my new patron.
Right.
Yeah, wait, what?
It is said that he would sit on the shores of the Great Lakes and welcome immigrants with open arms, booze, and food, giving them a hearty welcome to Minnesota, and would punish the police anytime that they tried to interfere with the immigrants from Sweden.
I think we can safely say that we can replace the Statue of Liberty with this guy.
Yes.
So
I'm totally okay with this.
Orla was said to have died drunk, face down in a gutter, filled with a couple inches of water.
Oh, shit.
Buried in an unmarked grave in St. Paul.
Like
Oh.
any true American hero.
Yeah. He died as he lived.
So that's the first one. The drunk patron saint of Swedish immigrants.
And what's his name again?
Orla Varmlaning.
Orla.
Yep.
Damn.
Oh, we got to remember that one.
He's
That's a
like-
good character.
Yeah, he's like drunk Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
He like
That like fucks with the police.
for me
Yeah.
it used to be like Paul Bunyan and then the principal that hung himself.
Yeah.
The principal's gone, it's now Orla.
Yes.
Whoa, you bumped W.H. Sally to number 3
That's
important
right.
folklore figures in
I
America.
did, because Orla is my new god.
Orla's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
You guys ready for another one?
I'm
do
so
I-
ready.
Do I go again?
It's up to you. Do you want to alternate?
Yeah, you go.
All right, cool. So, as everybody who listened to our New York episode knows, I've apparently developed some sort of affinity for lake monsters,
Okay.
and Minnesota is no exception.
All right. Hell yeah.
Basically, obviously, many lakes in North America have monster legends, and Lake Pepin in Minnesota is one of them. Not only is it another lake monster, but it's another border lake monster. So it's on a lake that's kind of in between Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Is it a contested lake monster?
It is a contested lake
Ooh.
monster.
Ooh, I love those.
Rivalry.
Yeah.
Sightings of this monster, nicknamed, I can only assume Pee-Pee, date back.
Pee-Pee.
What the
Pee-Pee the lake monster.
Is it Pepe?
He's huge. It's probably Peppy
Pepe?
because it's Lake Pepin, but I'm going to go with Lake Pee-Pee.
Pepe.
For you Scrubs fans. Pepe.
Pepe. So Pee-Pee, the lake monster, dates back to the Mound Builder times, and I swear to God, I'm not making any of this up.
Mound builder.
Yeah, that's a historic period in American history. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
Yeah,
I-
that's like
I
a
thought
whole
that-
culture that's unidentified because the only thing we have left for recording them are the mounds that they built.
Oh shit.
That's why they're hence called the mound builders.
Mound builders.
American history.
Wow.
Sometimes we're actually a history podcast.
Sometimes
Yeah.
we put the edu in edutainment.
Yeah.
What makes this unique is the price on his head. Businessman Larry Nielsen offered a $50,000 reward to
Larry
anybody who
Nielsen.
could produce conclusive proof of Pee-Pee's existence.
Of the Nielsen rating system.
Of the
thing?
Nielsen rating system, that's where it comes
That
from.
son of a bitch.
How many people watched my video on Pee-Pee?
Oh my god.
Don't watch my PP
Don't watch
videos.
my Pee-Pee videos,
Don't watch it.
please.
It's just one long. It's like, hey, look at the sign. Yeah, it says
Yeah.
it's pee-pee.
Do you get it though?
Get it? Get it?
He basically did it largely as a publicity stunt to attract tourism to the hometown, but nonetheless, the reward is still up for grabs, and you can catch a glimpse of Pee-Pee too at your local lake.
So they've got a lake monster.
They
Yep.
have a lake
It's
monster.
literally a fuzzy picture of this man's dick, isn't it?
That's why
Yeah,
it's
it's
fuzzy.
crazy. Look at it floating there. Huh?
Wow.
It's some kind of
It's
cock
huge,
magic.
isn't it?
Isn't that wild?
Oh, look at that there on the shores of Lake Wobegon. Yeah, I never thought
My
you'd see a lake
pee-pee.
monster there, did you? Oh, Garrison Keeler, did you take another hazy photo of your penis to
Damn.
give to the intern?
It's pee-pee.
It's
So
pee-pee.
pee-pee.
There goes the lake monster
He likes-
floating on by.
He likes it when you feed him bread. I feel like that was the most accurate Garrison Keeler I've done all night.
The one
It
right.
was
Yeah.
spot
All
on.
right, good.
There you
I've been workshopping that one for years,
Good.
guys.
We're fucking roasting Garrison Keeler tonight.
I mean, I think he deserves it.
I mean, I'm down for it. It was just like, yeah,
So
we've decided.
we've had the drunk patron saint of immigrants,
Okay.
the lake monster, and
the
I've got a
lake
haunted
monster.
location.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So,
Always down for a haunted
Uh,
location.
the haunted location that I picked is the Soap Factory, which is a cavernous building built in 1883 in a warehouse on the Minneapolis riverfront, which is now an experimental art venue and is the fiercest haunting in the city.
Nice.
So, it is one of the most. This is a quote, by the way, from their website. It is one of the most paranormally thick environments I have ever had the displeasure to investigate, says Adrian Lee, a London-born historian and the founding member of the International Paranormal Society.
Okay.
While Lee is loath to speak in religious terms, he considers the entities there being borderline demonic. His 4-year investigation of the space had found men getting attacked, a darkness so profound it blotted out infrared imagery, and most disturbingly, the smell of sulfur, which is, hell smells for those of you at home.
Oh, right.
And it seems to be that this place is the one place in Minneapolis that truly flaps the unflappable. Lee doesn't go in without a couple of pastors or religious figures without him.
Damn.
So, the factory, of course, was at one point in time an old soap factory, which meant that it created soap during the 1800s.
Let me guess. It's made of people.
Nope, it is made of thousands and thousands and thousands of animal carcasses.
Haunted animals. Better.
Yep.
Oh,
Exactly.
shit.
So the flow of bloody skins through the factory rivaled the current of the great river next door.
Oh, shit.
And at the turn of the century, the building's appetite for flesh made it a repository for stray dogs that the city paid to be rounded up and then strangled by the dog strangler. That was a job that you could have in the turn of the century Minneapolis. Dog strangler.
Dog strangler.
Oh my God.
Your father was a dog strangler.
My daddy was a dog strangler,
strangler.
and I'm going to be a dog strangler, damn it.
Just like my good old dad.
Damn it, Billy.
Strangle Fluffy. Don't name the dog boy. You have to strangle him.
Rule number 1 of strangling.
This family's been proud dog stranglers for years.
But, Dad, I want to be a radio host. Quiet, Garrison.
Oh, God. So before it was a soap factory that was basically the Holocaust of animals, it was a warehouse that was the site of a small at-home business in Minneapolis that created artificial limbs for Civil War soldiers surviving the war.
Good for them.
Oh, God.
So all of these people came there to get their limbs refitted after having them blown or hacked off due to infection.
Oh, shit.
So from their web, by the way,
Sanitary.
right? Pretty cool. It's kind of
It has to be, though. They make
right?
soap.
Soap factory, right?
Yep.
Good.
Soap
Good.
You're going to
So-
need some soap to go with that new arm, huh, Jim?
The
Huh?
river of blood. That's fine. Just put your things there.
Jump over the river. Oh,
I don't
never
know
mind.
why
Sorry.
Everyone in the Civil War is a New Brooklyn.
Yeah, in Minnesota.
Watch out for the Red River there. You got to get your arm
Oh,
down by the
crap. I
closet.
lost a hand.
Oh no!
You gotta get your
Oh,
hands
shucks.
fitted.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
no!
Oh, no. Oh.
So I mentioned it was an experimental art venue, right? So this is now a place where you, as a local artist, can rent space to display installation artwork.
Cool.
And every Halloween, the soap factory features a haunted house in its basement, which was where the Blood Channel vented all the blood out into the river.
Oh, shit.
So here's a little excerpt from soapfactory.org, the venue's website.
Hang on. Soapfactory.org.
Yep, that's their website.
I love
They
it.
got that?
Yep.
They didn't get the .com?
They're a nonprofit because they're an art venue.
So sorry.
Okay.
Thank God.
No money in the arts, guys. So, so here's an excerpt about their 2014 annual Halloween event. So the annual event happens every year, but this is from the 2014 review. This month, brave souls are invited to venture into the Soap Factory's bowels for the art gallery's annual Halloween haunted basement event. Even braver souls can venture to play the ghouls for the production. But exorcists take note. There's a spirit that kind of takes over our actors, says Tom Loftus, last year's Halloween director. It can get pretty wild. Haunted Basement returns this year to its roots with 2 twisted pathways, leading to an artist-created environment built throughout the entire 13,000 square feet of the soap factory's basement. But the nightmare starts before you even get there, as you are forced to wait in line through a maze of visual horror above the basement. Once it's your turn, you'll be separated into small groups and fed into the depths of a handful at a time, where you will then be given a choice to follow the signs to take the easy path, or to be brave and take the path filled with more horror and more torment than before, alone. Once a path is chosen, there's no turning back. But beware, we may decide to switch the signs at any given time, putting you onto the path that is much less trodden. And still, be bold with your choice. You never know when your bravery will be rewarded. There is no set time to the maze. Maybe you'll find your way out. Maybe you'll be stuck in the nightmare until we decide to let you out. Be prepared. Our basement creeps are ready, and they've been waiting for you. Now, here's a review from MinnesotaHauntedHouses.com. And by the way, guys, this is a rating of 6 jack-o'-lanterns out of 6, which is the rating system that they use.
That's good.
Survey.
6 is the most jack-o'-lantern number.
They went with 6.
Yep, 6, the
Perfect.
most devilish number. When I went to the soap factory, I was singled out. I was picked by the actors to go through by myself. I was led away from my group of friends and family and took to a completely different starting point. Apparently, when they single you out, you were you were with one of the actors, and then dressed in a costume.
Oh,
First, they
wow.
dressed me in an operating gown and blackout goggles and led me around by the hand. Then you were led about by one of the actors, making you participate in the scenes. It was super fun. Halfway through, I was abandoned and had to find my own way out.
Oh,
The whole
shit.
time I was in there, I didn't see anyone besides the actors. For me, this is one of the best attractions in Minnesota because it's so different. Not a cookie-cutter haunted house. I definitely would recommend to anyone looking for something different.
Damn.
And again, that is on MinnesotaHauntedHouses.com, the #1 website for reviewing haunted houses, specifically in the state of Minnesota, using the 6 jack-o'-lantern system.
I think we can all agree it just sounds like good, clean fun.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Sounds
Sounds
like a
fine.
fucking blast, actually.
Wow.
Because it's a soap factory.
Yeah.
Solid joke.
Thank you. I know not all of our listeners speak English, so I figured I'd explain the joke in English for them.
No, that's great.
Very helpful, Nick. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. All right, Nick, you got another one?
Boy, do I. I'd just like to take a second to say I'm so proud of Minnesota.
Me
like,
too.
There are a lot of states where we've done and we're just kind of like scraping shit together
Yeah.
to talk about. We're like, I don't know,
Yeah.
they have a Bigfoot or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Oregon has
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
Surprisingly hard to find stuff on.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a creepy place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Like-
Oregon had was a ton of fun facts. Like that
Yeah.
was the only thing I
The
didn't have
only
to
thing
struggle with.
terrifying I found every time, and I don't think I brought it up on the show, was just like, or maybe I did, was just all the white supremacy crap, and I was like, just gonna skip that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm just-
Surprisingly heavy with that.
A lot.
That bummed
yeah,
me
right.
out.
Bunker people.
A
Like
ton.
forest bunker people.
Yeah, a ton.
Yeah.
Forest bunker people. That's going to be my new D&D character.
Bunker people.
So my next story is about the Minnesota lawman Val Johnson and how he was attacked by a UFO.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
Also, I don't want it to go unsaid that Johnson is yet another dick joke in this state, very heavy on the dick jokes.
That is what the nice was in reference to. The dick.
Ah.
Or as the kids call it, the D.
the D for
Hashtag
de-terrifying UFO encounter. So Minnesota is home to one of the most famous UFO encounters.
Sorry,
Like,
that was
you
no
got
such
Brett
thing
with
as
that one.
summer.
Sorry, Mom. On August 26, 1979, Marshall County Sheriff's Deputy Val Johnson was on night patrol on a rural stretch of State Highway 20, just outside of Warren, Minnesota, when a ball of light appeared on the road ahead of him. Johnson drove his patrol car towards the light to investigate further, when suddenly the ball of light was inside the car with him, and it attacked him, hitting him like, and I quote, a 200-pound pillow.
Fuck. That would still fuck you up, I feel.
I would
Yeah,
imagine
I mean-
200-pound anything will.
Right.
Yeah, what a specific...
Like, it was soft, it was kind of squishy, but it still fucking hurt. It was 200 pounds of
It was
pillow.
still 200
of
pounds.
feather still weighs 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So, you tell me.
200
The next thing Johnson knew, he woke up in a ditch a half hour later with burns around his
His
eyes
pants off.
and his pants off, and Louis C.K. right there next to him.
Oh, gotta be good.
God damn
Whoa, hey.
Oh,
Both his wristwatch and the dashboard clock in his car had slowed by 14 minutes. His windshield and one of his headlights had been smashed, and both of his car antennas were sharply bent out of place. Don't know
shit.
why he had two antennas on his car. Maybe he's the UFO
Weird.
driver, but we'll get to that later.
CB radio.
Yeah.
Police
Yeah.
radio.
Oh, yeah. I don't hang out with pigs, okay, Brett?
Damn.
A police investigation, which he is the police, so I don't know if
That escalated really
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah,
I'm
fuck
just
all
saying-
you
No
cop
one in
listeners.
this group was like, oh, yeah, I do.
That's true. Yeah.
just making sure. I don't fuck with them.
I was just like,
I
I'm not a
talking
cop.
to him. I ain't saying shit.
Nope.
Jesus.
Oink. That's all I got to say. So the police
You heard it
investigation.
here first, folks. Nick does not oink.
They get pulled over, and they're gonna be like, "I heard what you said."
Heard what
I
you said,
know what
bitch.
You said, radio
Said-
personality of the internet.
So
We
let's,
know.
if we kind of dig a little deeper, like I actually got to find like an excerpt from the report that he filed, And as a cop himself, I don't know if he just used his own report paper or actually called somebody else to do it. I don't really know how it works.
Feel like conflict of interest to file your own report about your own
Right?
interests. Or,
So-
If the news is telling me anything, cops can just do whatever the hell they want.
they can
Exactly.
act with impunity and kill whoever they please.
Yeah, they're just like,
fucking
yeah,
Judge Dredd.
fucking UFO.
No.
Turn it in.
He's like, I'm just saying, I interviewed the guy, and me said there was a UFO.
It was a fucking UFO.
He's a cop. He wouldn't lie.
Yeah, why would I lie?
So what he said was, the edges were very defined. I thought perhaps at first that it could be an aircraft in trouble, as it appeared to be landing right in front of the aircraft. I proceeded south on 220, and as I proceeded 1 3/10 or 1 4/10, when the light intercepted my vehicle, causing damage to a headlight, putting a dent in the hood, breaking the windshield, and bending antennas on top of the vehicle. At this point, at the interception of the light, I was rendered either unconscious, neutralized, or unknowing for a period of approximately 39 minutes.
That is not an approximate time. That is an exact
Yes,
time.
for exactly
39
39
minutes.
Medical situation. What I think happened here. I think this guy was
DUI.
closetedly no.
100% a DUI.
Yeah,
that
I
he's
think
trying to kill.
closet homosexual.
Yeah.
Met a trucker somewhere. Went really bad. Trucker destroyed his car and was just like, "Oh man, it's just out of nowhere."
Fucking UFO.
Because they're like, "What the fuck are you doing out here, Johnson? Just hanging out? There's nothing out
This
here."
isn't your beat, man.
This isn't. Yeah.
You're like
There's
10 miles
nothing
out of
else out here.
town.
What's up with those rollerblades?
I'm trying to learn. Whatever.
Whatever, man.
Wait,
for hockey.
roller,
I
those
thought-
are new. Are the wheels all in a line?
Burns are on your knees.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's really helpful. It might go faster.
That's incredible.
Wow, those socks are really high and those shorts are very short.
Yeah, I'm a cop. What do you expect?
What do you It's for aerodynamics.
I have a lollipop also.
Yeah. What the fuck? I get hungry.
Harrison Keeler, get out of here.
God damn it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, continue.
Oh,
I'll
God.
stop you
No,
both
you're
with my
good.
Conspiracy.
I
theories.
actually kind of think it's probably Brett's story. I think there's a totally high chance that he was drunk or
wrong
something,
with us, yeah.
and as
That
he's
may be
like
yeah.
Is it
swerving into the
squad
other
car
lane.
that he fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh,
he
yeah,
is.
city
Yeah,
problem.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That dude's gonna get
So he's
fired.
swerving into
Yeah.
the oncoming lane. The light he saw is a headlight, probably one that's out because it's fucking rural
Flew off the road
Minnesota.
and fucked up his car.
So he
Yeah.
gets hit by the car, the 200-pound pillow, and then as he's fucking passed out because he's drunk and got hit by a truck, he's like, "Yeah, I must have been out for 39 minutes because of an alien."
Yeah.
exactly.
Holy shit. When
You
you
were a cop. That is right.
well, this
Infallible.
this
Correct.
case is closed, folks.
And that's
one
the
for the
story
books.
of the alien encounter.
When you frame it like that, yeah, that dude was totally drunk.
Fucking blitzed
yeah.
out of his mind
Yeah.
driving
Yeah.
in the backwoods.
Yeah. Trying to catch
Which is
some trucker
awesome,
tail.
by the way.
For what it's worth, though, a 200-pound pillow sounds very comforting.
Yeah.
It's like a gravity blanket.
It helps you sleep.
200 Yeah.
It smothers you.
Yeah.
Smother pillow.
Perfect.
Oh god, I got one more. if we
All
got
right,
Okay.
time for it.
Yeah, sure.
So- Let's do it.
So guys, did you know that it's entirely possible that there is an unidentified serial killer stalking Minnesota, or perhaps a series of serial killers working together, stalking the college campuses with a very unique method of killing? Or it could be complete bullshit
Oh.
and is completely unrelated, and just all these accidents look alike.
I hope
the
it's that
fuck?
one.
Okay, get ready for this shit. So, in 2008, retired New York police detectives Frank Gannon and Anthony Duarte went public with with what many have dismissed as a cockamamie theory. They claim that starting in 1997 and around the area stretching between Minnesota, but primarily in Minnesota and New York, that more than 36 waterlogged corpses were dredged from rivers and lakes and ponds that shared a surprisingly number of similarities for it to be just coincidence.
They were
So-
all interns on the Prairie Home Companion.
God damn
so,
it.
all right, here's where the shit gets weird. Almost without
Yeah.
exception, the victims were all white, college-age males who Gannon
God.
and Duarte described as athletic, good-looking, and academically successful.
Oh no.
They theorized
That's
that
all
the
of
predator
us.
was probably clumsy,
Yeah.
fat, dumb, and ugly, and therefore was motivated by envy.
Oh shit.
Look at them running. And I'm
victims-
just shoving on my cheater.
Those
God
fucking
damn
pretty
it.
boy.
Look-
I'll shoot you.
Look at it.
Think you're cool because your stomach don't jiggle when you walk?
I'm just running place, and my bees don't make me jiggle.
They'll be sorry.
So they'd all been spotted drinking at local bars or parties before being visibly intoxicated and leaving the party or bar alone when they disappeared.
Oh.
And in like 24 of these cases, smiley faces were found painted near where the bodies the detectives determined that they had been located.
Oh, that's terrifying.
So nearly all of these alleged, in air quotes, drowning victims were discovered in northern climates during the winter months, which, as was described in this article, as a ball-shrinking climactic scenario in which even the drunkest of frat dude bros would hesitate to wander near a body of water.
Did you get this from incels.com?
I don't know. It's probably.
so we can rule out rape.
Right.
Yeah.
For that.
So, Jesus Christ, Victor, that was terrible. Yet there was no discernible similar pattern of alcohol-related drownings anywhere in the United States in this period of time.
Really?
So it was only in a localized area. Dozens of these have similar things. Every one of these guys looked very similar, died in the same way.
The
So,
smiley face thing is creepy.
right?
Yeah.
So nearly all of the alleged smiley face murder cases are classified as accidental drownings, but at
What?
least 2 of them were determined to be homicides. 20-year-old Patrick McNeil was last spotted drinking with friends at a Manhattan bar called the Dapper Dog one night in February 1997. His corpse was dragged out of the East River 2 months later and 12 miles away. He was found in the water face up, which is rare for drowning victims, apparently. An autopsy revealed that ligature marks around his neck, so that means like strangulation. His groin area also had ligature marks as well, and that housefly larva had been laid on his been laid inside of his body, which meant that at some point in time he was indoors. But he was dead before he ever hit the water. Although he'd been missing for 2 months when his body was found, the absence of what is known as skin slippage, which is when your skin comes off of you like a glove, by the way, it indicated that he'd been in the water for less than a day.
Oh.
Now, case number 2 ruled a homicide affiliated with this. Halloween 2002. 21-year-old University of Minnesota student Chris Jenkins was seen kicked out of a bar at Minneapolis for partying way too hard. 4 months later, his
Right
body
on.
was found
Right.
encased in ice in the
Oh.
Mississippi River, face up with his hands folded across his chest. Again, not in a position normally found with a drowning victim.
No,
Was it
that's
like
like a
Han Solo?
standard Dracula pose.
Right, that's like the
Oh,
fucking
okay,
drag.
okay.
Exactly, but he was in a fucking block of ice in the fucking Mississippi River.
What the
I
fuck?
love this.
Crazy, right? So that's
Was
not it.
water found in his lungs? Was he?
It didn't say.
Okay.
But
So
good thinking, though.
Thanks.
according to
This is where I came
We're
up.
gonna solve
pathologist-
this mystery, guys.
right? According to the forensic pathologist, Dr. Cyril Wetcht, the statistics are
Not a
so
real
stacked
doctor.
against this number of men, young men at that, Caucasian males, all of similar body types, found in bodies of water in that cluster of states within that period of time that it would be statistically impossible for these events to be unrelated. Professor Lee Gilbertson, which is a nationally acclaimed criminologist from Minnesota's St. Cloud University, dismissed it as an urban legend. After scrutinizing the evidence, though, he unabashedly declared that the smiley face killer was a real thing.
Fuck.
Because he was an outspoken critic until he started looking at the evidence of all these deaths.
Oh shit.
Damn.
Yeah, fucking dark.
When
right?
someone says like,
right?
How long?
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Have these murders
from
been happening?
1998 until like 2015.
Oh, what the
Oh
fuck?
shit, no.
Despite support, Gannon Duarte, the original detectives, and their little theory have legions of critics. So, criminal profiler Pat Brown says that the theory is ludicrous, insane, and notes that smiley faces are literally the most common form of graffiti. It is not an unusual symbol. If you look in an area 5 miles square, I guarantee you'll find at least one, is a quote that he said.
Yeah,
Okay.
because so many people were dead.
So in 2008, the FBI issued a press release stating, "We have not developed any evidence in support links between these deaths and any evidence substantiating the theory that these deaths are the work of a serial killer or serial killers. The vast majority of these instances appear to be alcohol-related drownings." In 2010, the Center for Homicide Research released a document called "Drowning the Smiley Face Murder Theory." Great article title, by the way.
Yeah.
Outlining that there's 18 reasons that it can be wrong. Number 1, none of the smiley faces look alike. Number 2, there's
Okay.
no evidence of trauma aside from the 2 ruled as homicides. 3, drownings don't fit a serial killer motive unless they were never identified. However, several surviving parents allege that smiley face victims, in air quotes, have expressed doubts about the former detective's motives, fearing to make a big stink about the theory. So Bill Stozak, whose son died in Albany, New York, was classified as a drowning, to this day claims that his son was murdered. So he's one of the murderer's victim's family members.
Gotcha.
Right.
And despite all of this, The smiley face theory persists. It was invoked in 2012 after a Northwestern University student's corpse was found floating near smiley face graffiti carved into a tree. And again in 2015, which is the most recent event in February, where a drowning death of a 21-year-old who was last seen drinking with friends the day before Thanksgiving. His body was found encased in ice in a river right before Christmas.
Yep, just sounds like he drowned.
Yeah, what the fuck?
fuck,
What
right?
the hell?
No.
Yeah.
I'm a
so what do
10.
you guys think?
I think
Real
I'm a
quick.
10.
Yeah, there's totally a serial killer.
Right?
Or
fucking
killers.
creepy. They
Yeah.
all of them look alike, same profile, same method of death. Like,
Well, not to mention the guy who's just like, nope, there's nothing to see here. Definitely not those sexy, sexy boys drinking there. I don't know what could have killed him.
This is all totally normal.
I swear I
This is all
wasn't even
normal.
near him. I mean, nobody was near him.
No
Fuck,
one,
just
they
case
drowned.
closed.
Case closed. Move on.
There's
Bye.
literally the same type of victim in all of it the whole
Right?
time. The smile face
Yeah.
saying, what if he picked that because he knew they would rule that out?
It's fucking
What if he's
brilliant.
a forensic
Because the
specialist?
serial killer would know that it was.
by the way, if
His
you're
or
listening
hers.
right now, I think it's complete bullshit, smiley face killer. I don't think that this is right. You're definitely not a serial killer.
Yeah.
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 I am also out of college.
I was
Yes.
going to say, you're
We
out
are
of
also,
college,
none
you're
of us
fine.
fit the description of
None
your
of us are sexy like the men
None
that
of
you
us-
like.
Actually, you don't know that. Hang on, we're on the radio. That's us, a bunch of sexy 21-year-old guys. We just got
Yep.
back from the gym
Kids
and
drinking alone. You
Yeah.
know, I got kicked out for partying too hard.
Yeah,
and
that's
being
me.
Too hot.
Yeah.
I'm drunk and attractive.
Sorry, that
it's
went
me,
kinda
Chris
long,
Hemsworth.
But
No.
I thought it was super
No, it's worth it.
No,
shit
that
fucking
is
creepy.
that was absolutely worth it. And my initial thoughts on it are, I fucking hate that I have to follow that story.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Here, I'll,
Was
No,
that
no,
like-
no.
I'll
that,
give you a buffer.
Okay, that was true crime.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
was a
true crime.
that was
Yeah.
a
Different
fantastic story.
category. Okay.
Here's your quick buffer because I just wanted to make sure we mentioned it about Minnesota.
Yeah.
They have a lot of Bigfoots and apparently Wendigo.
Yes, that's what I was going to bring up. That Minnesota, I mentioned it earlier because a little behind the scenes, folks.
I am Mr. Minnesota.
I am Mr. Minnesota. No, we all decide who's going to do what in each episode, and I know that as we were all looking it up.
Damn you, Ethan. You're telling them how we make it.
we just
Show
come
how
up
the sausage is
organically.
made.
I mean, no,
They
we
were revealing Garrison Keeler's sausage to everyone.
this is all just spur of the moment. But when you look up Minnesota, for all of our regular listeners, if you look up Minnesota urban legends or Minnesota folklore, it's like playing fucking bingo for state folk legends. You got wendigos, you got lake monsters,
Yeah.
you got Bigfoots.
It's a fucking
Squatches.
who's who.
I just wanted to say they
might
call them
just have to come
squatches
back.
in Minnesota.
Yes. They even have the one that doesn't appear that often, but is one of my favorites, where it's the disappearing headlights. They have
Yep.
this pickup
Ooh.
truck that drives
I'm
on.
glad you brought that one up.
Yeah, are you
That's a
about
good
to
one.
tell that
I'm
one?
not going to tell the
Okay.
story. I was going to
Yeah.
skip it, but it's a good one.
So that's the one where it's on this lonely road. It's near a Native American reservation in Minnesota, or a former
Burial ground.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
And this truck will follow you for a while, and then just disappear. In addition to that one, there's also the hitchhiker, the disappearing hitchhiker that everyone knows at this point, where a dude will be on the side of the road. Normally, it looks like a hunter of some kind.
Oh, I read about that one.
Yes.
He's in like flannel and he has a gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They'll
Like
see him on the-
everybody else in Minnesota.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I assume.
and that's why a lot of people like discredit it, because they're just like, well, that's fucking
Everybody.
Everyone that
That's
lives
That's
everyone.
just Ben.
Yeah, that's just Ben out there trying to get laid by some truckers. And so it's seriously back to Victor's theory of
Wait,
Officer Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
How
Yeah.
you doing,
Full
Officer Johnson?
You know, the
Officer
Japanese call this a kimono.
But
Oh, man.
But the story I'm going to talk about, should we go right into it?
Let's
Let's do
just
it.
jump in, raw
jump
dog
into
it.
it.
We'll just jump right into it. So the one
Solid
story.
raw reference.
So the story I'm going to be talking about tonight is something that I have not seen in any other state, and it's a mysterious creature haunting around Minnesota.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which
Is it because we haven't talked about Minnesota before?
that's what it is? Yeah.
There you go. I love it.
And it's not a Wendigo, and it's not a Bigfoot.
Okay.
It's not a serial killer
It's not a
theory.
serial killer. Nope.
No.
No true crime here. So, what would you say is indigenous and famous for some other country? Nick.
Italians are indigenous to Italy.
That's right.
Free
Victor?
healthcare?
Yeah. Free. Fred, you want
Leprechauns.
Leprechauns. That's it. You guys nailed
I don't
it.
know
Is
that
it
we
Irish
understood the
Cabra?
question.
Yeah, I don't know what I was supposed to say.
This
there.
was
I
a
don't know.
bad question that I posed poorly. I'm referring to kangaroos.
What?
What?
Kangaroos are only in Australia and Tasmania, right?
Yeah.
Wrong.
Duh.
Whoa!
What?
You guys
They're
are
also in
super
zoos.
wrong.
Case
They're also in
closed.
zoos.
They're also in
Don't
zoos.
forget underground boxing matches.
That's right.
That's true. Story's over. Go home,
That's what I'm
boys.
Have you
telling.
ever seen a kangaroo? Like a nice photo of a kangaroo? Those things look fucking scary.
They are.
They're not
They are
scary.
built as shit, and they will
Yeah.
beat the hell out of
They-
you.
Did you see
Yeah.
a nice photo of a kangaroo? Like
Yeah.
a
Like a
kangaroo after
giant
business
rabbit.
school?
Calendar.
Yeah, like, I mean,
They're
Nice soft
scary.
limbs.
It's like
They
a
look like
kangaroo
they
with
do
like a tie
steroids.
instead of boxing
Yeah.
Yeah,
gloves.
but they're, I don't know. They look like a giant rabbit that will have a fun accent.
That
Like,
is
I
a
don't,
wallaby. Wallabies are cute.
But no-
Yes.
kangaroos are hell creatures that will beat the shit out of you.
No, he's
What
not wrong.
happened to
balls.
you in a zoo?
which leads me to the phantom kangaroos.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
Play the
That's
phantom
story.
kangaroo jingle.
Oh,
This
all right.
is our
Everyone
main
shut up.
story,
This is
folks.
amazing.
Oh my god.
So they've been spotted in Wisconsin, California, Tennessee, but most notably, they have been spotted in Minnesota.
Okay.
Starting all the way back in 1913, is the phantom kangaroos were spotted in various parts of North America. When I say phantom kangaroos, I don't mean like they're wearing a mask and a cape.
They don't
Ghost
sell fireworks.
I'm referring to ghost kangaroos.
Ghost kangaroos.
Yeah, they're very pale and they have glowing eyes.
Like an
that's
albino.
terrifying.
Like an albino
I would watch the
kangaroo.
shit out of a movie called Ghost Roo.
Ghost
Yeah.
Ghost through.
Sci-fi. If you're listening right now, we have tons of ideas.
Here we go.
Just listen to literally any of our episodes. We will literally write.
We
any
will
of
make a
this
movie
show.
a week. We can do
Seriously,
it.
Just call us back, please. So,
Stop ignoring me.
in addition,
Ignore the kimono photos.
Cancel Krypton. We got something better.
Yeah.
Go for it.
so in addition to looking like ghosts, they also have supernatural abilities.
What?
Yeah, they have been spotted going through. This is no supernatural ability, but they've been spotted going through garbage.
Oh, okay.
Like a raccoon's supernatural ability to go through garbage.
So
Can they open doors? Is that another ability?
it's incredible.
They rattle chains.
Imagine, I want to say these kangaroos have been spotted from being 3.5 feet tall to like 5.5 feet tall. So seriously, imagine a 5.5 foot tall, pale, glowing-eyed kangaroo just fucking busting into your house.
I'm starting to feel like there's a meth of some sort called like golden kangaroo,
Yeah.
and that's where this is from. Like,
I
think
got some
that's-
fresh Ghost Roo. Get on it now, boys.
So, so some of their supernatural abilities are appearing and disappearing at will.
okay.
Who's
they've-
Will?
Yeah. God damn it.
God damn it.
Sorry, guys.
They can make extraordinary jumps more than regular kangaroos.
Okay.
Who's monitoring that? I want to know. Like, I don't know how far a kangaroo can
Trust
jump.
me, there will be plenty
They're
of
from
holes to
Minnesota.
just
How would they
poke into
know?
the
Do they
story.
bring an Australian in to look at the?
Yeah, I've seen lots of roos over here. That one jumped a lot too far.
that's
You
definitely
get this,
abnormal.
Joey?
I'd even call it paranormal. I took my glasses off, everyone.
That visual gag is totally going to play.
Oh, it's gonna be perfect.
Fuck.
So these fucking kangaroos, right? What will happen is a lot of people have a theory that it's a pack of pale, ghostly kangaroos that are roaming from these various states.
That's a long way to roam.
Yeah,
I mean, when they can jump
How
super
do they
far.
survive in that environment? Completely opposite of Australia.
So that's the interesting part of these. Kangaroos will come into these communities like waves. I've
Really?
seen it described as waves. Well, they'll come in.
It's like gentrification, but for kangaroos.
Real estate prices will just shoot up. It's
The
terrible.
goddamn, there's a new cool coffee shop on every corner.
And these kangaroos are everywhere. So they'll come in like waves to these communities, and they will tear apart the natural wildlife and domestic pets.
Really?
So yeah, dogs, cats, birds, raccoons,
Shit.
all the
all the natural flora and fauna of America.
They all just take turns jabbing at a
Yeah.
moose, just like
so this is the scary part is what animals that don't suddenly disappear, they will find ripped apart and
Oh,
left in the road.
fuck.
So these kangaroos aren't just like beating the shit out of these dogs. They're like finding the dogs and either eating them
Jesus.
or ripping them apart and leaving the remains of their corpse.
It's a warning
That's
to
a
all
warning.
others.
Kind of as a warning. One sort of facetious story is one person claims it was a farmer. One person claims they saw one of these ghost kangaroos running off with their sheep,
My
What?
God.
like that, like in the arms of this
Cradling
kangaroo.
it like a
Oh my
baby.
God.
and this kangaroo's fucking hopping away with this dude's sheep. And so there's a theory that the kangaroos are incredibly intelligent.
Hang on, Jessica, could you draw that for us, please?
Please.
Draw us a ghost kangaroo cradling a baby sheep.
Yeah, and I want the farmer like shaking his
Like
fist.
pitchfork in hand.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
shit.
God damn it!
That's my sheep.
So,
Oh my god.
So you would think these sightings were from early as 1913. They probably disappeared sometime in the 50s, right?
Yeah, that seems
Yeah.
right. Ethan?
Wrong.
Oh, man, I was
no.
so tricked.
What is
I
it,
walked
last
right
year?
into it.
They have been spotted from as far back as 1899 all the way up through 1981.
What?
And there's a particular instance outside of Chicago where an entire neighborhood claims that they saw a ghostly white kangaroo hopping away through this neighborhood.
Huh.
Yeah.
What the
Obviously, there are no photos of anything.
Of course,
So-
because it's a ghost.
They
Can't
didn't have cameras
pictures.
back then.
Not
Right.
1981.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have daguerreotypes?
Stand still, kangaroo, damn it.
So, speaking of which, there is a fuzzy photo from an incident in 1978, and many people believe that this is one of the phantom roos. Yeah, as the Australians call it.
That is
That's
So,
a phantom roo.
so in
Phantom Brew.
in Minnesota, specifically in Coon Rapids, Minnesota.
Can't say that on the radio.
I know that's the name of the town. They referred to a particular kangaroo as Big Bunny, and it
Okay.
haunted Coon Rapids from 1957 through 1967.
What the
So
fuck?
for a fucking decade, Coon Rapids was convinced.
How long do ghost roos live?
How long does a normal kangaroo?
That's the interesting
no.
thing is I forgot to look that up.
Hang on, I'll look it up now.
We
Is-
call them Hoppy Whiteys over here.
Hoppy White.
So there's a part of the story that's hilarious because it's like these giant pale kangaroos are just hopping around stealing sheep. But then there's another part where it's like they disappear, they're ghosts, they'll rip your fucking dog apart.
Yeah, my
They travel in
thinking
herds?
is
Yes.
like someone brought them over,
Mhm.
and throughout the years they've slowly adapted
Yeah.
to like where their environment is,
Mhm.
and somehow become insanely aggressive.
Yes.
And also only the ones that can adapt to the cold and change their color.
Yeah.
But like a weird like super
Like
evolution
rapid
thing.
fire.
Yeah,
Rapid
rapid,
fire, like maybe there's
evolution,
like
like
one that like was like came out kind
like
of
couple
wider.
them, yeah,
Yeah.
and then
And
just
he was really good at
maybe.
fucking and made a bunch of them.
And
I
then-
think we may have solved two stories with one.
Okay.
Anybody want to take a guess at how big a normal, like large male kangaroo can get?
Big as
6
fuck,
feet.
man.
200 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Almost as big as
Oh,
a 200-pound pillow.
Oh shit! You're right.
So if
You're
this is a
absolutely right.
ghost roo, it's white, it's got glowing eyes,
Yeah.
and then it smacks into a fucking car
Oh,
like a
holy
200-pound
shit,
pillow.
we solved the mystery.
Holy shit.
Dang.
Thanks for listening, guys. You can. I'm just kidding.
Damn. Well,
Whoa.
I'm done. That's a hell of an ending,
Yeah,
actually.
Right,
Wow.
we can't fucking top that.
Yeah.
Let us
Damn.
know what you guys think. Nick, tell us where they can tweet their answers.
On Twitter.
But-
All right, no, but in all seriousness, you can find us on Twitter at GoFolkPodcast. You can find us on Facebook at Go Folk Yourself Podcast. And you can find us on Instagram, where we usually post hilarious pictures of our mascot, Sassy, and we tell you when you can find new episodes. But seriously, we love talking to you guys on social media, so hit us up. Maybe we'll send you a cool picture of a ghost roo if we can find one.
Yeah, who knows what we'll find on the internet? There's all sorts of
There-
weird
it could be
shit there.
anything. I mean, and maybe if Jessica sends us a picture of the ghost roo,
Hint, 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 hint.
if you want it, ask her for it.
Exactly. And as always, guys, if you're a Patreon subscriber, thank you so much for your hard-earned, delicious money. We use that to buy dumb shit on the internet and also keep the lights on here at Go Folk Yourself Podcast, where we want to thank you all for listening tonight. And why don't you go ahead and give us a follow on Apple Podcasts while you're at it.
What would they
And-
search on Apple
Ooh,
Podcasts?
Go Folk Yourself Podcast.
I love it.
Yeah, that's the one. And go ahead and write us a review while you're at it. Unless you're that one shithead from really early on who gave us a really negative review for the sound quality. Fuck you, okay? Fuck you. We bought microphones. We hired Victor. We have this box that I don't know what it does, but it has a bunch of cables in it, and I think it makes the show sound better. So usually, I don't know. So anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. If you've written a review, thank you for doing that. And go ahead, follow us on literally whatever social media platform you use. I don't understand social media. I'm like a 60-year-old man when it comes to the internet. But seriously, we love you guys. We do this shit for you, Frank Weaver.